The Chicago Bears drop yet another game, this time to the 49ers by a score of 33-22 to drop their third straight. But rookie quarterback Justin Fields had himself a pretty solid outing on Halloween. What's going on, guys? I'm back with the Chicago Bears post-game reaction videos, which I'll be doing pretty much every single week this year. So if you guys love more Bears post-game content from me, subscribe to this channel. But in today's video, I'll be covering the game that happened today between the Bears and the Niners. And guys, I went to this game, okay? So first game I attended this entire year, and I had some pretty fire seats, okay? Probably the best seats I've ever had at a Bears game in my entire life, okay? So sitting where I was sitting, I'll put a picture on the screen right now. I got to witness a lot of cool stuff firsthand, okay? Both Justin Fields touchdowns were right in front of me in the corner of the end zone where I was. So just to see that, man, that really did make my day. That made the entire experience worth it, because to be honest, I did have a lot of fun, okay? Meeting other Bears fans there, you know, cheering on the Bears. It was a fun day, don't get me wrong, but obviously the final score is not what I wanted it to be. To lose to the 49ers, who had so many injuries all across their roster, the Bears had no excuse whatsoever to be losing this game, okay? The 49ers were missing George Kittle, you know, a bunch of other players on their defense, and still we lost to this team. We allowed them to score 33 in our own house to put up 467 total yards of offense in our house. That is completely embarrassing, man. Like, there's no sugarcoating this, okay? This is not a good loss at all, okay? And the Bears, you know, you can see they're not a contending team this year, which I think that most of us knew that from the beginning, okay? Even myself, even though I am pretty optimistic, I predicted the season was going to be mostly a rebuilding season. On my optimistic side of things, I predicted 9 wins for us, but seems like 9 wins might be a little bit too much. There's still a lot of season left, but whatever the case is, I think we will be a mediocre team at best this year, because we just don't have the talent to match up with some of the other better teams in the NFL. Even though we have, you know, a really promising young quarterback, seems like our defense is falling apart now. You know, our offense is still nowhere close to being a high-powered offense. Even though we put up 324 yards of total offense, we only scored 22 points off of those yards. This should have been a lot more. We settled for field goals far too often in this game. But talking about probably the biggest positive from this game, which is pretty much the only thing I care about this season, is that our rookie quarterback, Justin Fields, he actually looked pretty damn impressive on a lot of plays in today's game. And before the season, guys, I pretty much said that the only thing that matters to me this season is the development of Justin Fields. If Justin Fields looks like a young quarterback with a lot of potential, if he's learning from his mistakes, if he's showing signs of greatness some weeks, if he's just continuing to improve week after week after week, that's literally all I care about for this year. Because like I've been saying, guys, 2021 is not a contention year. 2021 is all about developing our roster, the young guys on our roster, including Justin Fields, for the future. And in a game like this, guys, I think we kind of accomplished our goal. I still feel like we have to change our coaching staff. I don't foresee Nagy being here long term. Maybe even Ryan Pace is not going to be here. But I feel like we saw the glimpses of greatness out of Justin Fields that we wanted to see during his rookie year. I'm going to play a video now of the first touchdown that he had of the day to Jesse James, which I was right in front of that guy. So I got a pretty good footage of that, which I'll play right now. Because they're not going to want to run it. Let's go, Justin! Let's go! But as you can see, guys, this was a wow throw, okay? Rolling out to your left and placing that ball where really only Jesse James could catch it in a very, I would say, tight window, okay? Because there's a DB that could have made a play on the ball if that ball was not exactly where it had to be. But Jesse James, he has that chemistry with Fields dating back to training camp, okay? These two connected pretty often, and they did that for the first time in the regular season as well, okay? Fields knew where he had to put the ball, and Jesse James knew where the ball was going to go, and they connected on a beautiful touchdown pass. So early on, man, that was pretty exciting. And then probably the second biggest wow play that I want to talk about, which this was probably the play of the year so far for the Chicago Bears. Okay, it was 4th down, and I really thought that Justin Fields was going to get sacked on this play, okay? Scramble to his right, obviously, there was really nothing there. So he turns around, goes all the way to the left, pretty much juking out, faking out the entire 49ers defense, and somehow waltzes in for the touchdown. That play shows just how special this kid is, okay? That play was completely broken. There was nowhere to go with that ball. That should have been a sack, but Justin Fields, having the speed that he has, having the abilities as a runner that he has, he was able to turn that play into a touchdown, which when he did that, guys, Soldier Field went absolutely nuts, okay? It was loud as hell in there. There's a lot of cheering, a lot of excitement, and those moments as a Bears fan are really rare, okay? You don't have a lot of moments watching this team where your quarterback looks like a stud, and that was a moment where Justin Fields looked like a stud, okay? Making the entire 49ers defense look absolutely silly. So if you look at the overall day that Justin Fields had, if you look at his passing numbers, they aren't anything eye-popping, okay? So he did only pass for 175 total passing yards, had one passing touchdown, one interception too, but that interception was at the end of the game when he was just trying to make something big happen down the field in garbage time, but unfortunately Mooney could not come down with the ball, and it, popped up for the interception, which that's not really something to blame Justin Fields for, because he was just trying to make a play happen at the end of the game, and Mooney could have caught that too. So not worried about the interception, but if you look at him as a passer in this game, I thought he was pretty okay for the most part. Obviously, he can still improve going down the road, okay? He did miss on a couple of balls. He was a little bit high on a pass to Goodwin, also a little bit high on a pass to Mooney. He did throw an interceptable ball too that was not intercepted, which he got pretty lucky on, but for what the Bears are asking him to do in the system where, it seems like we can never get a receivers open. It seems like A-Rob is never open. It seems like Mooney is the only guy that can get open. And besides Mooney, we don't have a lot of other options, right? Like our tight ends don't make a crazy amount of plays. We don't have great receiver depth. So when you take all of that into account, doing what Justin Fields did as a passer is still pretty okay for a rookie, okay? Yes, I want to see it improve down the road, but I like what I saw out of Justin Fields, and especially as a runner, okay? Justin Fields had 103 rushing yards in this game, and obviously that insane touchdown as well. So obviously as a runner, Justin Fields was way better than he was as a passer, but the way that our system is designed this year, it just seems like we can't maximize the value of any passer in this system, okay? Even Andy Dalton wasn't doing that much in the system. Even all the other quarterbacks that we've had in the past, like Trubisky, Nick Foles, they have not been able to do that much as a passer in the system because the system is completely broken. It doesn't matter if Matt Nagy is there, if it's Bill Lazor, it's the same general system, and that system needs to change going forward. But for what Fields had to work with, I thought he did a pretty fine job in this game. He's getting a lot more comfortable. He seems like he's settling down a little bit, and showing us why we drafted him this high, okay? Showing us some signs of greatness. So overall, I was really happy with the day from Justin Fields. He was definitely not the reason why we lost this game in any means, okay? He was the reason why we were actually in this game to begin with. So great day from Fields. If you look at our offensive line, though, I do want to say our offensive line also was not that bad in this game. And that's mainly because from the right tackle, we got much improved play, okay? Instead of having Latavius Simmons here like we did last weekend, we had 5th round pick Larry Borom inserted into the lineup, and man, did he make a hell of a first impression. Not even a first impression because he did play in week 1, but this was his first game action since week 1, and he looked like a pretty solid right tackle, okay? Holding his own against Nick Bosa at some points, doing pretty well against all the pass rushers he was going up against. So really feel like, man, Larry Borom could be a solid building block for the future. He had a damn good, first game at right tackle. So obviously a much improved game for the offensive line. The running game was on point for the most part, but Herbert couldn't really get it going like he has in the past, okay? It was mainly Justin Fields running with the football. So that's pretty much the story about the offense. Okay, we did move the ball down the field way better than we usually can, but still only scoring 22 points. That's not good enough, okay? You can't come up with field goals in this league, okay? If you want to win games, you have to score touchdowns, and the Bears could not do that. We only scored 2 touchdowns on the day. But speaking about the defense, man, I am so disappointed in the Bears defense. Even though I knew it was not going to be an elite, top 5, top 3 defense, there was a stretch this year where we were actually playing pretty solid on the defensive side of the football, but it seems like especially with the loss of Khalil Mack, man, and also Eddie Jackson was not in this game for pretty much the entire game. Okay, he got injured after the second play, then he couldn't play after that. So we were missing some big name players, especially Khalil Mack, and you could really see it on the football field, because we allowed the 49ers to score 33 points in our own house and move the ball down the field just so extremely easily. They had 467 yards of total offense, and half of these plays that they were running, they were so extremely easy for Jimmy Garoppolo. Okay, Jimmy Garoppolo was throwing to wide open guys like Deebo Samuel, and then Deebo Samuel was turning those, short throws into like 40, 50-yard gains. Okay, Kendall Vilder got burned a lot in this game. Duke Shelley got burned a lot too. I think Jalen Johnson slipped up too at some point. Tease Tabor is not looking good out there either. So our entire secondary, man, just got completely shredded by this 49ers passing attack. We also allowed Jimmy Garoppolo to have 2 rushing touchdowns. How do you allow Jimmy G to have 2 rushing touchdowns? So it just seemed like, man, there was no fight at all. There was no energy from the defense today. And, you could really tell that Khalil Mack, he has that big of a, of an impact on this defense, okay? Because we didn't have a single sack in this entire game. That's how important Khalil Mack is to our defense. But it also shows you that we don't have a lot of depth on this defense now, like we did in 2018. So going forward, man, we do have to make changes on this defense. Okay, we probably need another outside corner. Kendall Vilder is not good enough. We need another slot corner. Okay, Duke Shelley is not good enough. We could use some safety depth too, some more edge rushing depth as well. So it just seems like right now our defense doesn't have the talent, especially without Mac, to be really competitive against some of the better teams in the NFL, which the 49ers, man, they were on a 4-game losing streak entering this game. So they are not even one of the elite teams in this league, but we still got destroyed by their offense, which is completely embarrassing. But that's pretty much all I want to say in this video, guys. Okay, a good overall day from Fields, which is really what I care about the most. Okay, obviously the loss stings. The loss really sucks, and it shows you that the Bears are really going nowhere this year. But the future could be bright, man. The future could be really bright if we actually surround this kid with the talent and the coaching staff that he needs to be successful. But leave your comments down below, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, bear down.